Hey everyone, it's Coach Matt from Primal Athlete Training Center, www.primalatc.com. Answer your question today from JL, who is from South Africa. And JL has some questions on the technical aspects of the discus. So he asked a few questions in his email that I'm going to cover throughout the next couple of days. But the one that was really kind of a challenge for me to answer, he asks, I have a few questions regarding the discus technique. What is the importance of driving towards the left sector line when you are coming out of the back of the circle? And in parentheses, he says angular momentum. So that's the first question that we're going to answer. He asked some other things about high point, but really driving down the left sector line is one of those things where it had me scratching my head a little bit, to be quite honest with you, because usually when a question gets asked, why do we turn the foot around? Well, it's to get the hips around. Why do we lead with the legs? Well, it's to create torque. Usually when people ask me questions, I've got the answer pretty quickly. But driving down the left sector line, that's something that every coach has taught me from day one, whether it was high school coach, whether it was at track camps, whether it was speaking at track clinics with other coaches, whether it was my college track coach, throws coach. It was something where you just drove down the left. If you were right-handed, you drive down the left sector line. So when he asked this question, it really got me thinking, and it had me scratching my head for a little bit. I had to go outside and actually go in the circle and figure things out. Why to the left? And really, when it comes right down to it, it has to deal with torque. And when we talk about torque, torque is sort of the buildup of power. Think of a catapult. When the basket of the catapult is all the way back and the workings of the base of that catapult are stretched all the way as far as they can be stretched. Right before that catapult lets go, that buildup of power, that buildup of kinetic energy, that's torque. So when you line up in the back of the discus circle, you have your feet kind of not right at 12 o'clock, you have your feet right around 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, maybe even a little bit open further than that. So straight down the middle of the circle is going to be straight down the midline of your body. Well, what happens? As you turn out of the back of the circle, you are going to start to drive down the circle. Well, if you were to turn and drive down what was then the middle, if you turn and drive down the middle, you wouldn't be driving down the middle of the circle. You'd be driving down the right half of the circle. Remember, the middle of the circle is right down your body. If you were to turn and drive down the middle of the sector, or drive in a letter L shape, okay, you'd be driving down the left side of the circle. That 8-foot, 2.5-inch circle would now be about 6 feet. So you'd be cutting off a lot of distance. Also, when you turn out of the back of the circle, your lower body and your upper body are in a race against each other, and the lower body has to win. So when we turn out of the back of the circle, the discus is behind the hip, and we're going to start to turn and accelerate the lower body in front of the upper body. Now, in order to do that, in order to get the most acceleration and generate the most amount of torque, you have to drive down the middle of the circle. You have to drive right down the diameter, not the diameter, is it the diameter? Yeah, the diameter of the circle. So as you turn out of the back, you're not going to be facing down the middle. You're going to be facing down the left sector line. So if you ever drove right down the middle, you would lose all that torque. The right side, or your upper body, would catch up to the lower body, and we don't want that to happen. So by driving down the left sector line, you're still cutting that circle right in half. But instead of going down the middle, which is not possible, because remember, the middle is the middle of your body. Instead of going down the middle, you're turning and driving right down the full diameter, half of that circle, right down the midline of that circle, which now is no longer going from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Now it's going right down the left sector line. And by driving down the left sector, you're going to be creating more torque with your body. You're going to be creating more torque, more stored up, more kinetic energy with the core of your body, and you're going to be throwing the discus further. A great way to think of this is look at Adam Nelson throw shot put. When Adam throws shot put, his left leg, his back leg, he's able to tweak and torque that thing like crazy to really create a lot of stored energy. So when he throws, he can put a lot more of his hips, of his stomach, of his trunk, and of his upper body into that throw. It's all about creating torque. It's all about storing up that kinetic energy. That's why we drive down the left sector line. The other thing is, if you're left-handed, of course, flip everything around I just said, you're going to be driving down the right sector line. But for right-handed throwers, which JL obviously is a right-handed thrower, you're going to be driving down the left sector line. Guys, hopefully this helps you out. That's a great question, one that we've been asked before, and one that certainly I wanted to cover now that JL had sent it to me in an email. So if you have any questions regarding your throws, whether it's shot, discus, hammer, weight, javelin, whatever you might have, training for track and field, explosive movement for track and field, whatever questions you have, whatever's going to help you throw further, it's going to be helping people from all around the world. We just had one from South Africa. I had somebody from Poland the other day. I'm training athletes online right now from England and Scotland and Canada. So believe me, guys, when you ask these questions are helping throwers from all around the world, just like you, that want to improve their throw and get better on a daily basis. That's my mission here at Primal, is to answer these questions and help out athletes from all around the world. In order to do that, you have to ask those questions. So make sure you send those questions to matt@primalatc.com, and keep checking out the website and letting your friends and your teammates know this is the place to come when you need track and field info and throwing information on a daily basis. Thanks. We hope to hear from you soon.